scales is a very big chapter in music language, and it has to do with the sound that reaches our ears. Sound is frequency. You will see that the more you get into music, the more some sounds, scales, will fit to your ears. But also, there is one practical reason for the scales to exist. Have you noticed that many times when you try to sing a song, your voice goes too high or too low, and at the end you can't sing it? Instruments, and our voice too, have a certain range, and many times we have to alter the scale in order to fit the melody in this range. One important element is that all scales always pass through all the notes. They start from a note, for example F, and go through all the notes and end up again in F. There are also scales with sharps and scales with flats. We don't have scales that include both sharps and flats. The simplest scale that we can see is C major, which crosses all the white keys of the piano: C, D, E, F, G, A, B. With the knowledge that we already have with tone and semitone, we can now see how a major scale is built. Starting from the bass, C, we ascend tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. All major scales are made this way. If I want to make D major, I will start with D and I go up a tone to E, another tone to F sharp, a semitone to G, a tone to A tone to B, a tone to C sharp, and then a semitone to D. This means that D major scale passes always through F sharp and C sharp. Listen to a major scale and observe the way it ends, how the two last notes come together. Listening to these notes, we see that there is a feeling of ending, finale. That's because the seventh note, that is called the leading tone, is always a semitone from the tonic. And that's what we have to keep in mind, because it's gonna be our tool to find all the major scales with sharps. One of the few things we have to memorize in music is this sequence of notes: F, C, G, D, A, E, B. This is the sequence of sharps. This means that if we have a scale with one or more sharps, these sharps follow exactly this order. It is not possible for a scale to have only the third sharp of the series. And if it has one sharp, this will be the first of the series. So, how do we find the key signature of a major scale? For instance, if I want to figure out which scale has three sharps, what are these? It will be F, C, and G sharp, the three first of the series. The last of the sharps, in this particular case G sharp, is always the leading tone to the scale we're looking for. As we said before, it's a semitone from our target. G sharp plus a semitone equals to A major scale. Let's look at another example. 5 sharps. Which are they? F, C, G, D, and A sharp. The last of the series, A sharp, is the leading tone of the scale. It is a semitone from our target. A sharp plus 1 semitone equals to B major scale. If we see it backwards now, which is D major's key signature? What should we do? We have to find the leading tone of the scale, which is a semitone from a tonic. D minus 1 semitone equals to C sharp. So D major has all the sharps of the series until C sharp. D major key signature is F and C sharps. One thing I must mention is how can we understand if a scale has a signature with sharps or flats. The answer here is very simple. All the scales with flats include in their name the flat except one that we'll tell it immediately after. Here is the second sequence, which is the opposite of the first one we learned with sharps. B, E, A, D, G, C, F. F major scale is the only scale that starts from a natural note. The exception I said just a few moments ago. And it has the first flat of the series as signature, B flat. The scales then follow the order of the series. In other words, B flat major has 2 flat signature. E flat major has 3 flat signature, and so on. In other words, the scale is always a position behind the order of the flats. A flat major key signature is B, E, A, and D flats. If we go in reverse, 5 flat signature, which is the scale? The 5 flats are B, E, A, D, and G flat. The scale is before the last one, always. In this case, D flat major. The second type of scales that we will see is minor scales. First of all, let's say that there's always a major and a minor scale which are related and have the same key signature. This is why they are called relatives. The relative minor scale starts from the 6th note of the major scale. C major has A minor as relative scale. The notes of A minor scale are A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. One more way to find the relative scale is to descend from the tonic of the major scale 3 semitones. But watch out, and 3 notes, C, B, A. If we go in reverse from the tonic of the minor scale, we will go up 3 semitones and 3 notes to find the relative major. So, if the scale is A flat minor, we're going up 3 semitones and we're getting here. Here's what I told you about the 3 notes. The relative scale is C flat major. The process to find the key signature of a minor scale is the following. We found the relative major scale and after its signature. So, as relative scales, they share the same key signature. As we had seen in the major scales, the evolution in notes creates a nice harmonic feeling of closure finishing at the 7th note to the tonic. And that's because of the distance between the leading tone to the tonic, that is a semitone. So, let's hear now the C major's relative scale, A minor. As you hear, there is no such harmonic finale, because the seventh note is a tone away from the tonic. This scale, resulting from the sixth note of the relative major scale, is A minor natural. If we raise the seventh note by a semitone by putting a sharp to G, we'll get the finale we want on the scale. Now we'll have A minor harmonic scale. However, this scale between the sixth and seventh notes has an interval of 3 semitones, which for many is not melodic. It creates an oriental sounding. That is why we also raise the sixth note of the scale by putting a sharp on it. And that is how A melodic minor is formed. Now there is not the 3 semitone interval between the sixth and seventh notes, and the sound is nice and the scale has the finale that was initially missing. For the minor melodic scale, we ascend by raising sixth and seventh notes by a semitone to achieve the harmonic finale, and we descend on the natural minor scale.